What website platform should you use for your nonprofit? There's so many out there. Wordpress, Squarespace, Weebly, Wix. Hey, I'm Kelly, the nonprofit marketing nerd, and I help nonprofits just like you amplify their mission through marketing that works. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the pros and cons of WordPress and Squarespace and give you recommendations on what platform you should be using for your organization's website. Let's jump right in to my first point that is all about ease of use. Now, if you're like the nonprofits I've worked in, we definitely don't have an in-house website designer. And most of the time, content edits for a website fell on my shoulders. Heck, I was even at a $16 million operating budget nonprofit, and all of the website copy edits were responsible in my department, and I was probably the most website design savvy. I will share, I think that's the way it should be for nonprofits. You should be out there sharing your mission, changing the world, and doing marketing that matters. And so having an in-house website designer for most nonprofits is not a good use of resources. And that's the number one reason I recommend Squarespace as a platform for almost all nonprofit organizations. Because of ease of use, you don't have to learn all the back-end coding. Whatever coding you might need if you really want to customize things, you can just Google search it. And Squarespace websites are almost unbreakable. Literally with Squarespace, it's drag, drop, click, use thing. I want to edit this thing. I'm going to click that. Now I'm going to type. And it's really that simple. Drag and drop, click, type, beautiful website. And the great thing if you're starting your nonprofit's website from scratch is that there are already some amazing ready-to-use templates. So you don't have to build out what your website should look like. You just need to change it with branding and content for your organization. Now, I often say that getting into the back end of a WordPress website is like, and especially making changes, is like trying to put together IKEA furniture without any instructions. You know that Little Mermaid song? There are gizmos and gadgets aplenty. There are who's its and what's it galore. You want thingamajigs? I've got plenty. That's what it feels like to be on the back end of a WordPress website. You're like, what is this? What is this? What is this? Widgets, gizmos, wasp. It's too much. It's overly complex. And if you're not a website designer, you would have to spend so much time, energy, and resources learning how to make quick updates to your website that in the back end of WordPress are, and I'm telling you, I've been there, are unnecessarily complex. And you're talking about ease of use. That's why Squarespace is your website of choice if you want to do updates to your website content yourself. So many nonprofits that already have WordPress websites, when they come to us, they're having to pay us, which breaks my heart, to make some simple changes to their website that if they developed out their website in Squarespace with a good website designer, they could do all of it so easily themselves. The second thing I want to talk about when you're talking about WordPress versus Squarespace is dependence on web developers. Now, specifically, I'm thinking of one nonprofit I know that had a beautiful WordPress website. When you went onto it as a user, it was wonderful. I knew exactly what to do. Great images, great video, highly branded. It was a pretty website. However, this organization was a mid-sized organization around a $2 million operating budget. And so they didn't have a lot of highly skilled digital content creation staff. And honestly, I got to the back end of their WordPress website once. It was so complex. So this is what WordPress website designers do, is they want to make you dependent on them to make any simple content updates. So for this specific nonprofit, every single time they wanted to change a date, they had a staff member change, they had I remember a staff member get married and they needed to just go in and just change the last name. They were paying their website designer $125 an hour minimum just to make simple edits that if they had built out their website in Squarespace using the right website designer, would have maybe taken 5 minutes of their time. Instead, it took probably an hour of back and forth with the web developer and $150 to $200 of their money to make simple content edits. And this is the beauty of Squarespace. And again, like this video is not sponsored by Squarespace, but I think there's a link below that you can get a discount if you want to build out your website yourself. I highly just want to make sure nonprofits are making the right decisions when it comes to setting themselves up for self-sufficiency and not dependence. And that's what happens when you design out your website in WordPress. You are then in a long-term relationship with your website designer, and it's probably going to cost you an ongoing arm and a leg to keep that WordPress website afloat, especially if you're regularly changing out content, photos, blog posts. It's going to be a real long-term relationship. I do want to take a moment to let you know that at Nonprofit Marketing Nerd, we offer website done in a day, VIP days for organizations with a $2 million operating budget or less. And at a super, not discounted, but super reasonable price. If you know what you want on your website, if you need 12 pages or less, we will get everything planned out, mapped out, and build your website in one single day, proof it, and everything tied in a bow for you to be able to use. There's a link below if you're interested in learning more about our done for you in a day website design services. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is updates and maintenance. Squarespace, again, it's not nearly as robust in terms of tools, widgets. There are limitations for the amount of customization you're able to do. However, any customization you do within your website will be automatically updated. So your Squarespace website will not break, and you will not have to go in and update each widget gizmo, and you won't need to update any widget or embedded third-party tool. Now, conversely, if you have a WordPress website, one of the things that WordPress websites are known for is continual updates and maintenance. So just realize that if you don't have enough marketing staff to really be dedicated to the upkeep of your website, then Squarespace is absolutely a better option for you. Now, I hear a lot of people say, well, we need to use WordPress because we're worried about member security. Squarespace used to be more focused for bloggers and content creators because it was a very visually forward, visually appealing website design platform. Well, that was probably 15 years ago. And now when it comes to security, WordPress and Squarespace are really going head to head. And both entities do have membership sites. Now, the Squarespace membership ability, or the ability to have a backend that only members, if you're an association, can access, is part of the regular ongoing services. So if you have a Squarespace website that's business class or better, you have the ability to operate a membership site that's already built in, that already has all the security built in within your website for no additional cost. Now, with WordPress, there is an additional cost. There's also a lot of opportunities for customization. And this leads me to the one time I might recommend WordPress over Squarespace. If you're a super robust membership association that has a lot of complex, like maybe 6 or 7 different portals for 6 or 7 different cohorts of individuals, and they all have separate things they need, and you are regularly, and I'm talking about more than weekly, updating content on those separate membership portals, then WordPress might be a better option for you, because that's a very robust website that needs to be hosted somewhere. And WordPress does have more security when it comes to options of hosting huge websites. So again, that's the only time I would recommend WordPress over Squarespace. And then you probably are looking at a half-time or full-time web developer to manage your association's WordPress website. Again, overall, 100%, I see nonprofits all the time get sucked into these huge contracts that aren't necessary for websites that are promising robustness, that honestly are ones that we could easily build for you, that cost so much, are difficult to maintain, are expensive to maintain, when they could have done the better option and created a simple, sleek, user-friendly Squarespace website. If you have any additional options, or if you are interested in our website done in a day VIP day, make sure to contact me via the contact form in the description. But I hope this video helps you determine which website platform is better for your organization. I look forward to seeing you again next week.